Alright everyone, welcome back to another comic book video review. This one will be an easy breezy look at the sensational She-Hulk number 12, published by Marvel Comics in 1990. Or I guess 1989, because this says cover date February, and you know how it goes. So here we have some amazing Steve Leialoha art on the cover. Interior art, we will see also Trina Robbins lends her talents. So this is written by Peter David, rest in peace. He just passed away recently. And I wanted to check this out as a little bit of a tribute to him, kind of an under-the-radar comic. If you know, you know. If you read the sensational She-Hulk back in the day, you know how much of a fun little romp it was, where there really wasn't any earth-shattering, universe-destroying drama going on, just like a short self-contained story starring the Savage She-Hulk. Actually, the Sensational She-Hulk. This is volume 2. The cover already is comedic. The whole book is comedic, and that was, I think, one of the strengths to this comic. It was comical, a comical comic. We've got She-Hulk running at us, X-Men Assemble, but she's got her classic Fantastic Four outfit. We've had some ersatz X-Men characters here. That's kind of Colossus, and that's kind of Wolverine and Storm and Cyclops, but not really. After all, Scott doesn't smoke. So let's see what's going on. We'll do a bit of a page-by-page look at it. Again, you should pause it on your own for the full story or get your own copy, because then you'll get some amazing extra material such as these ads for Castlevania 2. Yes, that amazing game. Anyway, the main story, we've got this very dramatic shot here. She-Hulk versus She-Hulk? What is going on here? And even She-Hulk is saying, no, not you, anyone but you. Then we get into a flashback. So this is an in media res type of a comic. That's a fancy term for saying in the middle of everything. So something is happening, but then we have a flashback. We flash back to a dark and stormy night where Entertainment Tonight shows up to interview She-Hulk about, hey, the new movie that's about to debut. Now remember, this is 1990, before the MCU, decades before, even before Blade, and right around at the time of the really terrible Fantastic Four Roger Corman movie. There was that one Punisher movie with Dolph Lundgren. So it was really the nadir of comic book movies, although we did have Batman 89 and, of course, Superman 78, so there's that, but there had been no Marvel comic movies hits at the time. There's so much meta humor here because, okay, that's Mary Hart from Entertainment Tonight, a show that everyone used to watch back in the day, and She-Hulk remarks, hey, shouldn't we parody your name? Isn't there copyright stuff to deal with? He says, yeah, like we really care about being in a comic. Lots of meta action. There is She-Hulk's Savage version artwork over here in a newspaper, where we then have a flashback that, yes, she did sign off on having her movie made back when she was Savage, and she gave someone her autograph. Well, that was actually a contract to make a She-Hulk movie. She says, I can't be held responsible for that. I was Savage. Well, some shadowy figure begs to differ. Jumping back for a moment. So again, we have the creative team here, and it's funny. Screenplay by Peter David. Storyboards by Steve Leialoha, Trina Robbins. Cue cards, Jim Novak, Technicolor, Glynis Oliver, and the rest. So we have sort of a Hollywood style of credits here to the credits of this comic. We've got the flashback within a flashback, which She-Hulk even remarks on that. We have a break in the action with some amazing video games of the time. Sky Shark, which I never really played, but Operation Wolf, which I played that at the arcades. These were some amazing arcade games of the time by Taito. And just this full-page ad. I really wonder how much these ads cost back in the day when you were putting your advertisements in a Marvel comic to show off your amazing video games. Anyway, pause it, read those descriptions on your own there. Amazing video games. We continue with the story. As I said, the flashback within a flashback, because the whole story right now is happening in a flashback, remember? She-Hulk goes off to Hollywood, so from New York to LA, which is exactly what Stan Lee was doing at the time, right? After he left his role in Marvel Comics, he went off to Hollywood to try to bring the Marvel Cinematic Universe to life. That was the short answer. Here we have everyone's favorite cartoon vehicle from a particular movie where a rabbit is getting framed, I think, something about that. And then so we get some LA traffic jokes over here, great speed lines, intercut with another part of the story happening where the movie is getting cast. Here we have a really low-budget Captain America who gets hired for the role in this movie that we're getting into. And hey, this is apropos nerds protesting movies that aren't being made to their satisfaction. So way back in 1990, I still think the 90s was like 10 years ago, but no, the 90s was 35 years ago. So 35 years ago, we had all of these vocal fans not enjoying the casting of movies yet to be published. And this was an early time where, yes, of course we had the internet, because I really hate it when people say before the internet in the 90s. No, we had the internet in the 90s. We've had the internet since the 60s. We haven't had the web as long, and we haven't had social media as long, but we've had the internet for a long time. So internet fans over here complaining. Got some really stylish Trina Robbins art, although this is a mistake here, right? She's got this red top here, this bustier top with a stylish jacket, but in the next panels, right exactly on the next panels, these change. It becomes completely red, the jacket part as well as the bustier top, and it gets these amazing accents over here. I'm not a fashion person, but, this is deep. This is Trina Robbins art, and she was well known for creating a lot of great art in the 70s, especially female-focused art, and even like kids' art, paper doll cutouts and the like. So it's really cool to see her still continuing, and in Marvel Comics here in the 90s, and she did so for several decades as well. Rest in peace. Really stylish here, cat eye style glasses, really cool. Kurt Cobain would wear them really well as well. And Bionic Commando ad over here. This was a horrible game for the Nintendo. Good memories, but horrible game. So we continue with the transformed outfit. We have one of these nerds that is protesting the movie, but hey, give him a shot to work on the movie as a consultant, and that'll shut him up. He's going to go look at all of the vault of amazing comics, such as Marvel Mystery Comics, but hey, they're not in snugs, which we nowadays call bagged and boarded, so he gets distracted. Here's a really funny joke here. Castings this way, huh? I was thinking maybe I should play me. Babe, I love you, but trust me, you're all wrong for this part. Oh, really? So hilarious, where the perfect person to play the part isn't the perfect person cast. Story as old as time. More action happens over here in the casting call. This is another funny. And these guys are supposed to be right? I've heard of cattle calls, but this is a lot of bull. I'm gonna talk to somebody. So we have some of these fans playing the characters. No, Spidey, don't expose yourself like that. Hey, wait a minute, I just noticed. So I love She-Hulk's outfit. This is just such a cool outfit. But as we saw right here, this transformation, are we to believe that she got dressed in the middle of these characters and took everything off and then switched to another amazing outfit? I really hope someone got fired for that. Anyway, amazing outfit. Amazing Trina Robbins art. Some more misunderstandings happen over here. They don't believe she's actually She-Hulk. They're casting all of these other really terrible fans to play the character, and it just goes on like that for a while. We have some mysterious stuff happening behind the scenes. Who could it be? We don't know. I first thought it might have been, Mysterio with that sort of bulbous head, but it's not. We have a great hint of who it is because of this fish. And then finally we meet over here. Here's another mistake. Okay, flesh-colored, but then when we actually see the character, they're not flesh-colored. So big mistake there as well. Sorry, Glynis. You weren't quite paying attention to your coloring. So who is it? It's P. Isadora. Yep, that's a funny joke for the actor Pia Zadora. But the joke here is that, okay, P as in, the Jolly Green Giant. So we've got a sort of Jolly Green Giant style of character, even with the hair. Tiny character. The magic of the movies. She-Hulk's amazing hair throughout. We've got stuff going on behind the scenes where She-Hulk is going to get killed so that it makes the movie bomb at the box office so that stuff happens. So someone comes to take out She-Hulk in the middle of the shooting. Lots of action happening here with, again, a change in her outfit. Wasn't she in her amazing red duds just a moment ago? And she switched back to this white ensemble at some point. The rest of the action happens in that white ensemble until it gets destroyed, as we will see in a moment. Outfits getting destroyed on the female characters. Those are the good old days. The good old days also was when Wonder Man was a Hollywood heartthrob, not the angst-filled character that was afraid to die. I remember that version of Wonder Man back in the 90s. Carefree movie star character. So a lot of stuff happens, battling underwater. She's about to escape, but then sharks attack her. silly sharks, don't you know she is a savage She-Hulk? And we discover that this is Orca from the recent Atlantis attacks storyline. So that's how it ties together in the timeline of things. Atlantis attacks recently happened, and this touches upon the She-Hulk story, which is completely self-contained, but we get a little bit of Atlantis attacks. We get the classic She-Hulk torn-up white outfit from her very first issue cover, and it looks still pretty good all of these years later. We finally meet the main bad guy, Krang. No, not Krang from the Ninja Turtles, Krang from Atlantis Attacks. And yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He became a movie mogul. He got hundreds of millions of dollars to create a She-Hulk movie, an unauthorized She-Hulk movie, and so that when the movie goes bankrupt, he can take all the money. The story ends very weird, in that the movie is a huge success. The studio went bankrupt, but the movie's still a success in its 10th record-breaking week. And so the meta-commentary, I suppose, is the Batman movie, because again, this is 1990. Batman 89 had happened. All of this, even though it's February 1990, this was probably published in December 1990, since comics are 3 months behind, and the Batman movie was out for the summer, right? So, apropos, not exactly mentioning the Batman movie, but comic book movies are maybe a thing again, because we joke over here, imagine a comic book movie that can make $200 million, har har. Now with billion-dollar movies, that's actually a flop. But back then, that was a lot of money. Well, if we convert that $200 million to today's money, it's this much. Wow. And in the end, we get some great Trina Robbins art with the classic plop of the characters falling out of the screen with the final outlandish phrasing, like, She-Hulk, why don't you boycott the movie if it was so terrible and such? What? And give up show business? The end. And so a one-and-done comic with, of course, some Stan Lee soapbox stuff going on about Archie Goodwin leaving for the Distinguished Competition. Other cool ads. Hey, U.S. Agent. And then this ends. Easy breezy, self-contained issue. We've got the She-Mail that you can read about here. Some great preview art. Village of the Darned. And all of these fans talking about, hey, no, we got John Byrne leaving She-Hulk. We've got Todd McFarlane leaving Spider-Man. Please don't leave my other favorite comic creators. No worries, Sergio Aragonés will never leave Gru. And that's true. So read the rest of these on your own. And that is The Sensational She-Hulk, number 12, published by Marvel Comics in 1990. Some great Steve Leialoha cover art, Trina Robbins interior art, Peter David writing, and just a fun, fast, single, self-contained issue of merriment, meta-commentary, and all that good stuff. If you like this video, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, ring the bell, battle the Minotaur, do all that good stuff. If you really enjoy my videos, head on over to the Patreon, patreon.com/vmcampos, and pledge. Keep the channel going and be a part of it. Or click the join button here in YouTube, or click that donate button, or promote, or whatever it's called, to give me $1 or $2. That'd be nice. This has been the weekly VM Campos Comic Book Club, and I'll see you next time.